Hi traders, this is the Dow on the daily chart. If I now switch that to the weekly chart, you can see that we've at long last followed the Euro markets. So we closed above the 127 extension here, and that is taken from the 09 lows and the 07 highs. So I mean, last year was incredible. Any tests, any dips were bought, and then we finally broke out on that little run into the back end of the year and into the new year. We just got very weak, and this early part of March, we have now got what is potentially a nice M shape. The fact we closed below that 127 extension and engulfed last week's price action is key, and that was seen across the US markets. New high closed below on the Nasdaq weekly, engulfing bar on the S&Ps, and you can see the Nikkei has engulfed the previous week, and the German markets had 4 red bars and the UK markets had 3 red bars. So the US is finally catching up with Europe. The obvious place to short on the Dow is 15,200. So we've got Fed rate decision on Wednesday and UK budget on Wednesday. Otherwise, there's very little data. And the main reason for this sell-off last week was not so much tensions in Europe, in Ukraine, but more to do with the Chinese slowdown. It's a combination of factors, apart from the fact that's a very technical sell-off as we just hit this resistance area from January and couldn't close above and couldn't hold it. Right, so where does that leave us with currency markets? On the pound, we are in such a box. Holding the lows, there's a lot of resistance up there. If I pull that back, you can see where I've got that dotted line up there. Yeah, so that's the highs from April 2011. Got a 15,200 EMA cross. It does mean the 50 EMA is some distance away. We're consolidating, but we can't get through the daily 8 and 20. On the daily chart, we've got the daily 8 and 20. So I'm standing aside from this because on this, you can see how I've drawn this daily out. That's the resistance there at 670. That's the support there at the 600. So we're in a 70-point box in that pound. Whichever way we close, I mean, it's bullish. The last 2 days last week were bullish, and we're holding the 50 EMA. So if you're prepared to risk some capital, you could buy a pullback to that and then see if it works. The euro is the same story. On the weekly, we had a really nice close above the key fib area. So the pullback is 138.90 area to see if we can let's go and test 140. On the yen pairs, I think the obvious place to short, because the yen is being repatriated and the yen pairs tend to follow the indices, so any pullbacks to 170 on this one could see us come down eventually, come down and retest that 200 EMA. We may not even get to 170, who knows, and we could just even drop at 179, but I'm sitting tight on Monday, see where we are. The euro yen is slightly hard to predict. We broke Thursday's lows on Friday, but we're sitting on the 50 EMA and 50%. But that's a lot of selling. The weekly is alright. The weekly didn't engulf previous week's bar, it sat on a fib level. So I'd sit tight on these pairs and see if we come into 200 and reject this main fib and pivot level. Pound Aussie has been of interest, so we're just moving sideways on that one. And the Euro Aussie had a good close, held the 50 MA on Thursday at the lows, held the 50%. Well, looks okay. And there's the Aussie US with resistance up here at 90.50 and support down here at the 90 level. So you know, like the pound US, stuck in apex. Oil. Be careful of this oil because this contract, I've got a split in volume now because this contract is going to end. It's an April contract. We are coming to the 20th of March. I'll have to check, but I think this contract's due to finish in midweek. Nice close above the 200. Could get to the 100 mark there. Here's the other here's the next contract, May. Just closing above the 200 as well, but obviously that 50 MA and that 100 is proving tough. And we've got all this selling above us. We could just get another leg down. So all the time we're holding this level, we stand a chance of pushing up. But all the time we're under the 50 MA, watch out if you're long. Manage your stock carefully. Grains. Wheat is on the May contract. We'll pull back to bought on that one. 200 MA above there. A lot of resistance there at 690, 700. RSI is high. The pullback. Keep buying the pullbacks and see where it goes, because we could get up to 127 extension here on the corn. That's tougher. Reversal bar up there, which we're struggling with. RSI has been very high. I would still hold out. See if we get a pullback on this. At least 470, possibly 460, and then see if it holds. Coffee has been on a tear, but it's coming off. Sit tight. RSI is horrendously high. I would just let that come down. Beans trapped in the 50 and the 200. But that's the May contract as well. If we start closing above 1400, then that may get some momentum and come and see this $15 plus. So if you're not in this and it pulls back to 1375 as a logical sort of 3/4 of the point range on the $14 price, see if that holds. Gold has been frustratingly strong. If that pulls back to 1350, that's a buy. Massive support at 1350. So, having not been engaged in gold and missed out on a fabulous run, I will see if that will come back and settle at that level. Okay, I'll do a separate stocks video tomorrow. Otherwise, enjoy what's left of your weekend, and the room will be open at 2:45 on Monday. I'm just going to a quick peek at the market. If there's anything to trade, I will trade it. Otherwise, I will sit on my hands and then wait till the Euro session on Tuesday. Alright? Thank you for joining me, and do make sure you're with me in the room and watching the next video. Thanks, bye.